Hello and welcome to the info session for our 2025 We Will Community Grant. My name is Barb Oldershaw. I'm the program director with the Park County Community Foundation, and I'm here to review our grant application process. I'm going to go through the slides fairly quickly, but we will take questions at the end of this presentation. There's going to be another session just for questions and answers on January 8th. And then I am also available by phone or email anytime between now and when the letters of interest are due, which is February 6th. We'll be talking about that more as we get through the presentation. So in this info session, we're going to be covering organizational eligibility, what the Community Foundation is using for our decision-making criteria on what we decide to fund. I'm going to introduce some special for 2025 funding priorities. I want to go over the actual questions that you'll find in the letter of interest form, and I want to make sure you're aware of the resources we have to assist you in preparing your letter of interest. So first off, is your organization eligible? The Community Foundation awards annual grants to nonprofit and local government entities serving people who live or work in Park County. And you'll see there's a little asterisk there. For the purposes of this program, we also support organizations that are located in and serve the residents of Mammoth. We acknowledge them as an extension community to Gardner. Applicants need to be a qualified 501c3 or have a fiscal sponsor or be a public entity that's located in Park County or with projects and programs in Park County. And also, if you're an organization that's received previous funding, you do need to be current on any final grant reports. All right, how do we make our funding decisions? We have a subcommittee of our volunteer board of directors, the program committee. They make the decisions and propose a funding slate to the board, and the entire board then votes on that. Myself, as a program director, I facilitate that process by also reviewing applications and resolving any questions that might arise about what has been submitted. This initial phase of the decision-making with the letter of interest or the LOI, at this point, we're just trying to evaluate the proposed components of your program design. And as you'll see in the first bullet point here, if you're selected to submit a full application, you'll have much more opportunity to elaborate on the specifics of your project. We're really just doing this initial overview of your intended goals and potential impacts. And we fully understand it may not yet be a fully developed plan. So no worries about that. There are word allotments as part of the application, but don't feel like you need to use the entire word allotment. Do use enough words, though, to let us know that the particular number of people you'll be impacting in Park County. This is especially true if you do programming that covers multiple counties in Montana. We really want to see the specifics of what's going to be happening in Park County. And finally, final bullet point here, as has been true for the last 4 or 5 grant cycles, funding priority is for those programs that align with the We Will Park County vision. And this is a hyperlink that'll take you to the We Will Park County section of the Community Foundation website. A little more about it on this slide. So as many of you may already know, We Will Park County is a citizen-formed initiative that helps us all make better decisions and have a better impact on our shared future. This was launched in 2019, and we have the 5 key areas, which you see summarized here: landscapes and natural amenities, small town and rural lifestyle, economic performance, housing and affordability, and health, safety, and education. The image we have here is the cover image for the 2024 report. You can find that on our website, which is linked here on this slide. These slides are going to be posted on our website, so you can link to it from there. We also have hard copies in our office if you want to come in and pick up a hard copy. And if it's not convenient for you to come to downtown Livingston, reach out to me and I can get you a hard copy in the mail if you would rather have a hard copy than the electronic version. Okay, so the letter of interest. There are 17 entry fields that you need to complete on this document. 11 of those are very simple responses or just checkbox to select an answer. And then we also request your organizational mission statement. There are 2 narrative responses letting us know the why and the what of your proposed project. There are 2 questions that ask for very short narrative answers. One is to let us know how your proposal fits within our priority funding area, if in fact it does. More about that in a moment. And then also, there is a question where we ask you how many people will be served by your programming, and we just request that you share a phrase or 2 about how you came up with those numbers. And then there is 1 document to upload at this time, the confirmation of your eligibility. At this point, we're not looking for a project plan or a budget or any of those other forms. Okay, so I am going to walk through a PDF of the letter of interest, just so you can see question by question what all is involved. But I just need to clarify, all submissions take place through our online portal. So I'm happy to make the PDF available for you as you organize your thinking. You can also download the PDF through a link on our website on the Apply for a Grant page. But again, the answers to the questions raised in the PDF have to be shared through the online portal. And I will, a few slides from now, I'll be talking about how to access that online portal. Okay, so the first section of the letter of interest is the project overview. So this is where you share your organizational mission statement, your project name. We want to know, is this an existing project or a new effort? And then there are a few questions about funding, an approximate budget, the amount that you're going to be requesting. And then we do like to get just an initial picture of what the current status is. Some of you may have already received funding for your program. Some of you may have funding that's been pledged, but you haven't actually received the check. And then at this point, we also anticipate that many of you may be in process with your funding. So that's grant applications that you've recently submitted. Maybe you have events coming up. Maybe you're starting conversations with potential major donors. So that is the in-process category. We have found that this question about received, pledge, and in process is one where we tend to see the most confusion in the answers. So don't be shy about reaching out ahead of time if you want to resolve any questions about where particular funds might fit within these categories. And then we also ask for your alignment with the We Will Park County vision. That is just in terms of checking a box telling us which of those 5 content areas is the best umbrella for your proposed program. Okay, new this year, we have the option for you to align with specific funding priorities. So the We Will community vision document and process, and we feel really good about the 5 content areas that were identified back in 2019. In each of the subsequent We Will reports, we've kind of narrowed down some of the particular statistics and data points for the current year. This year, we went a step further by taking that information out on the road and conducting some community conversations to hear additional feedback from folks. In this photo here, this is when we had our presentation at the Park County Fairgrounds here in Livingston. We also did a session in Gardner, a session in Shields Valley, and then a 4th session virtually. So based on those initial conversations and then some follow-up targeted conversations that I hosted. We heard a handful of high-level themes, which in turn informed our 4 funding priorities for 2025. And those are listed here in the bullet points. The development pressures on Park County, which of course have broad implications, mental health across all sectors of our community, programs that address the financial pressures caused by high housing costs. And I'll just say here, if you have a proposal to create more housing, we would love to hear that. And we also acknowledge creating new housing is extremely difficult. So in the meantime, we want to support the other pressures that people are facing because of our lack of more affordable housing. So that's what this bullet point is getting at. And then the 4th is how can we enhance our capacity for emergency response and disaster preparedness? So again, as noted in this red text at the upper left-hand corner, it's optional that your program aligns with one of these funding areas. If you have other programming you want to propose that you think is going to make a valuable contribution, we absolutely want to hear about it. But if you perhaps have a suite of programs you could potentially apply for, and one of those does fit within these funding priorities, we are very interested in funding programming that addresses these concerns. Okay, the second section of the letter of interest form is these narrative questions. And as I mentioned previously, we only have 2 of those. One of them is to tell us the why of your proposal. Which community needs are you going to be addressed by this proposal? Why does that matter? And when you're talking about community needs, if you're citing data, we do encourage you to first look at the We Will report. And if your data point is in the We Will report, please cite that as your data point. Obviously, we don't have everything in there. So if there's other details about community needs that you want to address, we do want to hear about those. But again, if it's something that was discussed in the We Will report, we hope that you will turn to that first as a source of shared data points. And then question 2, the narrative question 2 is letting us know the what for your proposal. So in this section, we want to hear the goals that you hope to accomplish. Again, as I mentioned previously, in this phase of the process, we get it that you may not have the project entirely built out. As I think most of you know, in addition to being grant makers, the Community Foundation, we are also grant writers. And so we know firsthand the amount of effort it takes to fully build out a program. And we are not asking you to do that at this time. Should your organization be invited to submit a full application, we do ask some more details about how you plan to implement your project. But in this initial instance with the letter of interest, we are just wanting to hear more about your goals. Okay, what do we have next? Okay, and then the third section is really just some data points. Hopefully these are easy for you to complete. We have a question about geographic region served. We do try to get funds as broadly distributed, geographically broadly distributed throughout the county as possible. So your information there is going to help us with that. We do want to know potentially what you anticipate, the number of residents you anticipate serving with your programming. So we have some different categories there. And then we do ask you to just tell us a brief narrative of how you calculated that number. And then the third thing here is just confirming your eligibility. And this is that one document upload question that I mentioned earlier. Okay, so how to do all that? First, you need to go to our online grants platform, and you can access this. If it's more comfortable for you to go to our Community Foundation website, you can go to the Apply for the Grants page on our website, and that'll include a link to the grants platform, or you can go directly to the grants platform with this link. In either case, you will end up on a landing page, which will look like this. This is the one that I log into with my personal email account. So you'll get to this landing page, you'll click that blue log on button, and then it'll open up a, you see a screenshot, or this is a screenshot of what you should see at that point. And then you'll see in the upper left-hand corner here, there's a little pictogram that says apply. If you click on that apply, that's going to take you to the letter of interest form. And well, sorry, it'll take you to a place where we describe the letter of interest form. And then once you're there, you click on the apply button. So thank you in advance for your patience in these different layers. And then there is, in this lower left-hand corner here, you can click on a preview, and that will show you all of the questions that are on that form. Okay, some key
Hey,
dates.
Barb,
Yes?
if I may interrupt, how will people know what their login password is?
Let me go back a couple screens and show you.
Thank you.
So, if you're logging in and you don't recall your password, there is this opportunity here to click on Forgot Your Password, and it will walk you through the process to update your password. If you're not sure if your organization has applied in the past, or more particularly, if you think your organization has applied in the past and therefore might have an organizational profile, but you're not quite sure how to get to it, please reach out to us before setting up a whole new profile. So the grants platform is organized by organizations, and then within each organization, there can be a number of applicants who have access to that organization's history. There also is a process now that if you're working with a grant writer outside of the organization, there is a way to bring them in as a collaborator. Tricia, does that answer your question? Hopefully so. Okay, let's see. So we've logged on, you've determined if you've forgotten your password, you've worked your way through that process. You've clicked on the apply. That gets you to this page where you see our application documents for this cycle. And then you click the apply in the upper right-hand corner. Okay, that is the background on the grant platform and the letter of interest documentation. Here are some key dates and deadlines. These are also posted on our website. So just to recap, Thursday, February 6th is when the letter of interest is going to be due. We are aiming to make the invitations to submit full applications. We're aiming to have those out by February 28th, but as you'll see by this little star, that's still a tentative date at this point. We are anticipating the applications will be due on April 8th, but if the invitation date changes, we may change the application due date. A date that is going to not change is when the final reports are due for the 2024 grants, for those of you who receive those. As I mentioned in the beginning regarding eligibility, if you've received previous funding, we do need you to be up to date on your grant reporting before we'll issue additional funding. And then the fifth date here is when we announce funding decisions, and checks will follow shortly thereafter. And again, this is tentative because there's a few moving parts that need to happen before we get to that point. Okay, next up, resources to support you in crafting your letter of interest. So we have various previous trainings that we've provided. Here is a link to go onto our website and find those past resources. There are a lot on that page, so if you need any assistance in navigating those resources, reach out to our Nonprofit Action Program Training Coordinator, Kev Ward, who is pictured here. And if you would like to know about upcoming trainings and you're not sure you've been receiving emails to this point, here's a link to a Google form where you can sign up to receive the Community Foundation emails. So those are the previous trainings. We also have an upcoming training. This is scheduled for Wednesday, January 22nd. It's going to be in person at the Community Foundation office. I am going to be hosting that along with Tim Stevens. Tim is a board member of the Community Foundation. He serves as vice chair of our program committee, and he's also a grant maker in his professional life. And we're going to be sharing some grant writing tips from the perspective of a grant maker. So those are training resources. And then the other resource that we make available to you is in person. So particularly if you know the programming that you need funding for, and you're trying to figure out where it best fits in one of the 5 We Will content areas, or you're not sure whether or not it fits in one of the priority funding areas, I'm very happy to talk with you about that. I am available via email. You can also reach me by my cell phone. That's a little bit better way to reach me since I'm not always at my desk here in the office. I am happy to talk through any questions or potential strategies you have. Just to point out, my availability to do that diminishes as we get closer to the due date. So if you reach out now to schedule time in January, that works great. If you reach out in early January, that should still work great. If it's already February and we're getting close to that February 6th deadline, I'm going to be less and less available. So just the logistics there. Thank you so much for your interest in our annual grants program. And we look forward to hearing more about your ideas of enhancing quality of life in our community.